Donald Trump says the US may have to unwind trade deals with the EU, Japan and South Korea if the Supreme Court rules against it on tariffs. The US president says his administration will ask justices to reverse an appeals court ruling that found many of the duties he imposed were illegal. It's the first time he's suggested the case could derail the trade deals, which were negotiated separately from the tariffs.
Our country has a chance to be unbelievably rich again, but it can also be unbelievably poor again. If we don't win that case, our country is going to suffer so greatly.
Analysts said the comments appeared intended to put pressure on justices before they consider the case. The Supreme Court has a 6-3 majority of Republican-appointed members. That could boost Trump's chances of getting the verdict he wants, but it's far from guaranteed. Legal experts say it's hard to call what will happen, given the unprecedented nature of the case. The appeals court ruling focused on Trump's so-called reciprocal tariffs, as well as separate duties imposed in February on China, Canada and Mexico. It excludes other levies, such as those on imported metals, which have a different legal basis.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Wednesday called for more pressure on Moscow during a trip to Denmark. Beginning a visit to European allies, he hopes will unveil plans for security guarantees for Kyiv.
Russia keeps hitting our energy sector, hitting every day, and we need enough capabilities to protect ourselves. Putin hopes winter will kill our people where his troops cannot reach, and we cannot let them happen. Air defense is absolutely strategic.
Zelensky's comments come after Russia launched a sweeping overnight attack on Ukraine that injured at least 4 railway workers and damaged critical infrastructure. While in the eastern town of Kostiantynivka, at least 9 people were killed, according to regional officials.
Russia rejects any attempt to end the war and wants to keep fighting.
During a press conference in China, Russian President Vladimir Putin said there was a chance to end the war, quote, if common sense prevails, but added, quote, if not, then we will have to resolve all the tasks before us by force of arms. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump said on Wednesday that he has no further message for Putin and awaits a decision from the Russian leader.
He knows where I stand, and he'll make a decision one way or the other. Whatever his decision is, we'll either be happy about it or unhappy, and if we're unhappy about it, you'll see things happen.
Putin said he has never ruled out the possibility of meeting Zelensky, but that any such meeting should be held in Moscow, a proposal swiftly dismissed by Ukraine's foreign minister as unacceptable. Lisbon's popular Gloria funicular derailed and crashed Wednesday, leaving more than a dozen dead and at least 18 injured. That's according to an emergency medical service spokesperson. The destroyed yellow tram-like funicular carries people up and down a steep hillside in the Portuguese capital. Emergency workers were pulling people out of the wreckage. The commander of Lisbon professional firefighters, Alexandre Rodriguez, spoke to reporters.
We were alerted of the derailment of the Santa Justa elevator at 6:08 p.m. We arrived at the scene in 3 minutes, getting there very quickly. The causes of the accident will have to be analyzed by the competent authorities.
Police investigators were inspecting the site, and the Prosecutor General's office said it would open a formal investigation. The Gloria line, which opened in 1885, transports around 3 million people annually. Authorities did not identify the victims or disclose their nationalities, but said some foreign nationals were among the dead. President Marcelo Rebelo de Souza lamented the tragic accident in a statement, expressing hope that authorities would soon establish what had caused the crash.
An investigation is underway in Portugal on Thursday as to what caused a funicular railway popular with tourists to derail and hurtle down a hill, killing at least 17 people and injuring 21 when it crashed into a building. The mangled wreckage still lay where it had left the track as police inspected the scene. The line's 2 cars, each capable of carrying around 40 people, are attached to opposite ends of a cable. As the cable apparently snapped, the car coming down the 290-yard slope couldn't brake and derailed on a turn. Lisbon resident Abel Esteves and his wife and grandson were among 40 passengers in the car at the bottom of the hill and saw the derailed carriage careering towards them. He says he raced to the scene and pulled out a woman from the carriage. However, she was already dead. The city's remaining 2 lines were shut for inspections, authorities said. The Gloria line, which opened in 1885, transports around 3 million people annually. A union leader told local TV workers on the railway had complained about problems with the cable's tension that made braking difficult, but they said it was too early to say if that was the cause of the crash. The municipal public transport companies said all maintenance protocols have been carried out, including monthly and weekly maintenance programs and daily inspections. Flags flew at half-mast as Portugal declared a day of mourning for the victims. 4 have been confirmed as Portuguese, while 11 others are of 9 different nationalities.
In this mountainous area, tremors have occurred every few minutes since the earthquake, and people are very frightened. Most have left their homes and are sitting out in the open. It's a very painful situation.
The earthquake started around 11:45 at night. With one shake, everything was destroyed. Our village lies between Nergal and Suki districts, and so far no assistance has reached us. There are 4 or 5 villages, and the road is completely blocked. Some of the wounded have been taken out, but many remain. We have around 160 people killed, and between 180 to 190 injured.
This flotilla is above all a flotilla for decency, I would say, human decency. We cannot allow a genocide to unfold before our eyes and do absolutely nothing. That's just not possible. I think there's nothing else that motivates me, whatever the people concerned. As long as there is a genocide, we cannot allow it to happen. So the aim of the flotilla is to show the whole world that we must mobilise, that we are ready, that we are human, and that we must act for other human beings. That's all. So we are going there with the goal of breaking the siege that has been in place since 2007 and that has intensified in recent years, to bring humanitarian aid, to bring humanity quite simply, and to show that we are present and that we will not stop.
Yes, the Israeli government threatens, but I believe the threats will never make us lower our eyes or give up, because there is a people being massacred. It's a moral obligation to mobilize for the Palestinian people.
Western Balkans criminal gangs are entrenching themselves in West Africa, a new report has said. It's a sign, amid rising demand for cocaine in Europe, of West Africa's growing significance for drug smuggling. Evidence of that phenomenon could be seen in Ghana in June. This is more than $350 million worth of cocaine being burned by the authorities. That's after what officials described as the largest such seizure in the country's history.
We will not stand idly by and allow them to bring in these illicit drugs to destroy our future leaders.
For several years, smugglers have increased trade through Senegal, Sierra Leone, Gambia, Guinea-Bissau and Cape Verde. That's amid more enforcement along the direct route from Latin America to Europe and alongside the significant expansion of maritime ports in West Africa. What's gone under the radar, according to the report from the Global Initiative Against Transnational Organised Crime, or GITOC, is the growing role of Albanian and Slavic-speaking criminal networks. They are, according to Lucia Bird-Ruiz Benitez de Lugo, director of GITOC's Observatory of Illicit Economies in West Africa, major global players, very violent, and among the most sophisticated in the world. She said as more such groups pile into West Africa, there is a threat from the perspective of stability and violence. The report was partly sponsored by the UK government and said more cross-continental cooperation was needed between law enforcement, port authorities and others to tackle the growing drug routes. It also called for increased data collection and smarter targeting that focused on brokers in the trade.
Shares of Macy's soared about 20% Wednesday morning after the retailer raised its annual sales and profit forecasts, signs that its turnaround strategy is paying off. Macy's, which also owns Bloomingdale's and Bluemercury, has been leaning into its pricier labels that serve higher-income shoppers. That's helped the retail chain offset the hit it's taken from lower-income shoppers, pressured by macroeconomic uncertainty triggered by President Trump's volatile tariff policy. Macy's in May said it would increase prices selectively to soften the tariff costs from its reliance on manufacturing in China. The company is benefiting from the turnaround plan that CEO Tony Spring introduced early last year, which included closing 150 Macy's stores by 2026, reinvesting in high-potential locations, and improving product offerings and loyalty programs. The retailer now feels confident about its recovery, even as holiday spending in the U.S. is expected to see its steepest drop since the pandemic, according to a PwC survey. One analyst told Reuters that Macy's raising its forecast was a bold move, as a, quote, overcrowded retail landscape and tighter budgets intensify competition.
American Vogue on Tuesday announced Chloe Mal as its new editorial boss. She succeeds Anna Wintour, who's led the magazine since 1988. Wintour, credited with turning the Met Gala into a global spectacle and inspiring Meryl Streep's character in The Devil Wears Prada, is stepping down from her US editorial duties. But she will remain Vogue's global editorial director and chief content officer at media giant Condé Nast, overseeing global growth and major events. Filling her shoes is 39-year-old Mal, the daughter of actress Candice Bergen and filmmaker Louis Malle. She joined Vogue full-time in 2011 after working at the New York Observer and freelancing. In her time at the magazine, Malle was most recently editor of Vogue.com and co-host of the podcast The Run-Through. The announcement follows weeks of speculation about Wintour's successor. In June, she announced her search for new leadership for American Vogue. As speculation swirled, filmmaker Sofia Coppola and fashion designer Marc Jacobs on Tuesday weighed in on Wintour's departure, ahead of Condé Nast's official announcement.
She's, obviously such a big figure in fashion, and I guess it's a new era, but it sounds like she'll still be involved.
I wouldn't get too excited about it's exciting and it's great and interesting news and all that, but I know Anna pretty well and I can't imagine that Anna's going to let go of a thing.